Hi everyone, my name is Maarten Schultz. I'm the Policy and Research Manager of ELF. I'm also the co-editor of the publication that we'll talk about today. With us today is Robin van Leijen. He is one of the authors of ELF Study 9, which deals with the housing crisis in Europe. As liberals, we believe that freedom begins at home. We're optimists. And believe that we will solve issues like the housing crisis. Robin, you are a candidate for the D66 national Dutch elections. Yeah. D66 did amazing, by the way, so
thank you.
Congrats to that. But you are in many capacities involved on the housing topic, so maybe you can briefly explain.
Sure.
Your professional background.
Mostly to my work at ADIS, which is the Dutch Association of Social Housing Providers. I've been working there for 8 years at the EU level. First is mainly involved working on building renovation policies and the European Green Deal. But recently also at the EU level, housing is hot. And I've been working on issues like the Housing Action Plan and the European State Aid rules.
There are many authors in this publication, and you wrote one chapter, and in your chapter you contend that liberal housing policies should be recalibrated towards policies that promote equality of opportunity.
Yes.
Can you maybe expand a little bit on this, and do we need to update liberalism in your view to deal with these social issues, and what are the steps needed to move towards this equality of opportunity as well?
Yeah, I think a little update or recalibration is good. I'm a social liberal, so I strongly believe that if you want individuals to reach their full potential, you should set the right foundations. And this begins at home. Freedom begins at home, as you said yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can expect people to enjoy their individual freedom, make their own choices if they struggle to pay rents, live in poor housing conditions, or don't have access to housing at all. So there's something that we should do there.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe for the listeners, maybe they can already tell, but we're both Dutch.
I think they can tell more from me than from you, to be honest.
I'm not sure. But maybe we can quickly go to the Dutch situation as an example. Maybe first of all, how would you describe the situation in the Netherlands when it comes to housing?
It's a big issue. I spoke to a lot of people that honestly, they are postponing life choices because the housing conditions are not right. You're talking about young adults that still live with their parents, young people that want to have children but don't have a suitable home, but also seniors that want to move to a more accommodating place that just isn't available. So it's alarming. And if you look at new construction, there's also reason to be concerned because there are high material costs. Land is high, there's a lack of skilled workers, procedures take forever. So it's sort of like a perfect storm at the moment.
Yeah. And then, as liberals, as said, we are solutions oriented.
Yes.
So what do you see as some of the solutions? And of course, D66 will also be in the coalition government and also has an active role to play. So what do you see as some of the solutions?
Well, I have I have three. One for today, one for tomorrow, and one for, let's say, next week.
Okay.
Let's start with the short term today. I think we can do a lot to make better use of the existing housing stock. For example, by adding physical layers on top of buildings, optoppen, as we say in Dutch.
Yeah.
That's a quick win. But also taking away financial regulatory bottlenecks to promote home sharing for those that want to do that. I think for tomorrow, for the midterm, I think it's all about procedures. We witness in the Netherlands that there's a lot of NIMBYism.
Yeah.
And that residents file...
Not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard, indeed, and they file appeal against appeal after appeal after appeal, and that really delays the construction process.
Yeah.
It takes 10 years to build a home, and from those 10 years we're actually only building for a very short period of time. And of course they're in the right to do so, but those looking for a home also have rights. So I think one of the ideas is to just limit the amounts of appeals that you can do. And then in the long run, it's build, build, build. We need to finance that, we need to stimulate that, we need to use innovative methods such as prefab, and we need to think big and also build entire new districts, new cities outside of city boundaries, and just really go for a solution for the housing crisis.
And what can we do to help with this build, build, build? What is now getting in the way of achieving this in a faster pace?
Well, one is the procedures. So taking those bottlenecks away would really help. Once again, 10 years to build a home and only a short period of time we're actually building the home. So that really helps. Financing helps. Innovation helps.
Yeah.
So those three things. Yeah.
Of course, for the people that are watching or listening, it's of course not just a Dutch problem. It's really a truly
It really is, yeah.
European problem. So maybe you can say also a bit more on this. And then, what then can we do at a European level? Because they say, you know, housing is not really EU competence, but I think, and I would expect you agree, we need to do things on all levels, local, national, European.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So is there something also on the European level
Yeah.
you think we can do?
Yeah, I think my entire chapter can be summarized in one sentence: bring back public policy on housing.
Mm-hmm.
And also at the EU level, it's not an EU competence, but there are many policy domains that interact with housing.
Mm.
So in my chapter, I mentioned 4 recommendations. The first is to bring in patient capital. We need private capital to finance the construction of housing, but not all private capital is good. Not speculative capital, not short-term orientated capital, but really the patient capital is what we need. 2 would be to redirect demand-side subsidies to supply-side investments. If you subsidize demand without taking care of supply, it will drive prices up. So you really need to look at the supply side and put your investments there. The third is, of course, build, as we said before, but I think any policymaker that would like to go for build, should ask himself or herself for whom, because in many European cities, we do not need more fancy penthouses. We need home for the middle class, and we need to alleviate homelessness. And I think you should really target on those groups.
Yeah.
And I think finally, and this is really an important change at the EU level, is the recent change of state aid legislation that allows for public support for exactly that missing middle supply. And I think that helps a lot because it can boost investments in that side. And I encourage governments to take use of it.
So for the policymakers, please listen to these great recommendations of Robin. But like I said, this is just one chapter in the study, and there are many different ideas and authors in the study. So I was curious, is there one idea that you really liked in one of the other chapters?
Yeah, I like the chapter of Andres Jatta a lot. I also know him personally, so that helps a little bit. But I mean, of course, at the EU level, we need to do a lot. At the national level, we really need to have more coordination. But in the end, and that's also the main point of Andres, is the fight against the housing crisis should really be led against city halls and town halls and at the city level. So I cannot stress enough how important the city level is, and that's what his chapter also does. So I liked it a lot.
Yes, I agree fully. Well, Robin, thank you so much for this short conversation. Please check out the full study. You can find it on our website, and of course we will also link to it. So thank you very much.
Welcome.